Hi there, I'm Leo, and today we are going to be performing a legacy migration from an Access database. Before we start, we need to make sure that our Access database is exported in a way that makes it possible for us to import. And really all that means for the techies amongst us is we just need to export the database's schema, no data. Because we don't want you uploading your sensitive data to Codebots, we just want the schema. But once we've done that and we have our Access file, we can start actually importing that into the Codebots platform. Next step is to create a new application, as a legacy migration is a new application from a legacy system. So we'll hit Create Application, and we'll click Custom Setup. As you can see, we're given the option to pick a legacy migration. Here we can select which bot we want to use, whether that's Spring Bot or C# bot. For today's demo, I'm going to use C# bot. Okay, now that we're here, we can either drag and drop our Access database on, or we can click this button here to upload it ourselves. Here is one I prepared earlier. Okay, here's where the magic happens. Your Access database is being uploaded to the Codebots platform, and the bots are going away and it's analyzing that. It's looking at the tables, the columns, the foreign keys, the relationships, all of that, and it is learning about all that, and it's creating information, and from there, as we can see, it says, huzzah, we've done it. So that's exciting. We got to give our app a name. I'll call it Access Demo. And it looks like our application is ready. So we can start inviting people to our team, or we can just start building straight away. Okay. So if we look over here, we can see that we have about 5 entities here that have been brought over from our Access database. We can tidy it up a little bit to make it a little bit neater. But we can see here that these entities have come from tables. We've got the columns, they've been turned into attributes, and we've got the relationships as well. And note that it was actually able to determine the difference between, at least in this case, a one-to-many and a many-to-many relationship. This is just the first step of your legacy migration journey. From here, now that you have the bots to help you out, you can start adding extensions and start building upon your existing schema. So, let's say employees were going to be able to log in. In that case, we could just add the user extension to our employee. And now that we've got our schema inside of the Codebots platform, we can now create interfaces and add security. So how about I add a page, call it the suppliers page. And I'm going to add a data table tile. Call it suppliers, and link it up to our supplier entity. All right, now I'm going to add some security. Let's say that our employees can read suppliers, but they can't create them. What I could do here though, is that maybe I want to add a new entity, and maybe this is going to be some sort of administrator. The administrator can log in, and we'll go over to security. We see admin now, and I'm going to give them full access to everything. And we'll make sure that the employee can actually go to the suppliers page and read them. All right, I'm happy enough with these changes that I've made, so I'm going to hit the build button. Now, because this is a custom app, we're given the option to use a Codebots Git repo or provide our own. For the purposes of today's demo, I'm going to be using a built-in Codebots repo. So we need to give it just a couple of minutes just while it sorts things out, and what it's doing is it's in the background, it's setting up that Git repository, it's creating all of the files and structure that it needs to support this project. All right, and now we have the exciting part. This is the build. So the bots are now taking our entity diagram, our interface diagram, and our security diagram, And between all of them is building a really cool application for us based on our Access database. And what we can see here is what we call our fireworks. And this is a representation of the bot running around your Git repo, writing all these files out. So there you go, that's all done. What we can do is we can click here to see our source code. So now we can see our source code. We can see here that the Codebots has written some code and it's pushed it up. If I go over here and have a look at the commits, I click on this commit here, we can see in this commit that the bot has created 839 files and it's written a lot of code. So let's actually browse some of that just to have a bit of a squiz. Let's have a look at some server-side code. So this little bit of code here is all of our entities. We can see admin, employee, order, product, supplier, and all of those came from our diagram. So let's have a click on one of them and have a look. All right, well, this looks like pretty human readable code, which is one of the amazing benefits of Codebots is that all of the code is developer readable because we've trained the bots to write code as if a human has written them. And you can see we have these protected regions here. And protected regions are a way for us as developers to write additional code alongside the bot. All right, that looks pretty cool, but I'd really like to actually run this application. Now, there's a couple of different ways that we could do that. We could clone our repository down, and we could run it using the normal ways by installing SDKs, installing tools, and all that sort of thing. That's option one. Option two is all of these projects come with Docker files, which means in a single line of command, you can bring up your entire application, including databases and dependencies, in a simple little self-contained Docker Compose application. So that's really cool if you just want to get started. But option three, and option three is my favorite. Option three is that the platform can deploy your code for you. So let's go back and let's do that. Back on the build page, we can click this Launch App button. We click that, and what's going to happen here now is that the Codebots are going to go away. They're going to take your application, bundle it up, compile it, package it, whatever it needs to do, and then it's going to launch that up into the cloud. Now this can take 10 minutes or so. So what's going to happen is the Codebots are going to email you with a URL as soon as it's ready. Then you can just click on that URL and start clicking around. While we're waiting for our link, I will just show you this little browser down the side. And this is a little file browser that is similar to the Git that we saw earlier, but you can see all of the files that have been created and we can click on them and it'll open them up in Git as well. So that's really cool. Additionally, we can zoom in on this on the fireworks and we can pan around and we can see all the files here. And again, we can click on one and it will open up in Git. So those are a few really cool ways to navigate your source code and to understand and visualize everything that's there. Because really, the Codebots have done a lot for you just now. They've written 84,000 lines of code in less than 30 seconds. So that's really, really impressive. All right, I've received my email from Codebots, and as it says here, my app is ready to launch. Note here that this is considered a preview app, because really we want you to deploy your app in your own environment. So this will only last for about 24 hours, this link, after which you'll have to either deploy it yourself or you can hit the preview button again. It's up to you. But let's hit the button and find out. All right, our application is launched. In the preview environment, we actually step you through a bit of an onboarding process. As you can see here, welcome to your target application. And basically this onboarding will just help you navigate around the application that's been built. One of the things it does, which is nice and friendly for us, is it pre-fills some dummy data in the login form so that we can log in. All right, at this point here, I'm gonna skip the guide, but if you're doing this, please go through and learn it and learn how it all works. But if we look here, this is the page that we created before, our suppliers page, and we can see that here. There is a There you go, we got suppliers on the left in our main navigation. We only added the one page, but if there was more, they would all show up down here as well. But we can create a supplier now, and these are all the columns that have all came in from our Access database. All right, as we can see, that's created. So that is how simple it is to take an Access database and create a whole brand new web application within a matter of minutes using Codebots. If you're interested to give this a go yourself, follow the link and sign up for Codebots today. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.